we're live.
Okay. I'd like to call to order this regular meeting of the Board of Education at 5:40 p.m. If everyone could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Ms. Capabianca,
Here.
Mr. Corey,
Here.
Unmute, Nikki.
I'm sorry, I can't hear. Sorry. Here.
Mr. Kisco, Mr. Minichia, Ms. Richardson, Ms. Spino is
I can't hear anything.
Yeah, I can't either.
Okay, I thought it was just me.
No.
Same.
Did you just lose? Oh, they can't hear.
Yeah.
Hold
on. I think this part's set straight. I think it's probably just not. plugged in.
It's like
We're here,
No,
not there.
there's no
It's
light on.
not.
Yeah.
No light.
No, like.
What do you say? What's
Now
Nikki
it's
say?
I think it's
Now
the
it's off.
connection.
It was on and then it went.
Oh, it's okay. Never mind. Perfect.
Okay. Were you guys able to hear any of the beginning? Did it just sort
Yep.
out?
No, I heard the first name.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
See, we're Ms. Capabianca. Mr. Corey here, Mr. Euclid,
Here.
Ms. Fabiano,
Here.
Kona here, Mr. Kisco,
Here.
Mr. Minichia,
Here.
Ms. Richardson. Here. Ms. Spino is working, Ms. Toder is not here, Mayor Carbone, Mr. Aram,
Yeah.
Mr. Barlow,
Here.
Ms. Ferguson is here, Ms. Harold,
Here.
Ms. Komazewski, Ms. Lebomsky,
Here.
Ms. Schulte.
Here,
That's it.
Okay. Entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Okay.
Aye.
Aye.
Can we
Oh,
just
sorry,
change that
discussion.
the heading
Yeah.
says special meeting, it should say regular meeting?
Yep.
So John, you want to amend
Amend.
If that's necessary, I will do it.
and
Second.
Armand?
Got it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. School community service, public participation. The board invites members of the community to speak on topics to be addressed in the agenda or other topics of interest. Individuals wishing to make comments can dial in or email with their name and address, which must be stated at the beginning of their comment. The board will not allow comments regarding specific staff members, parents, students, or personal grievances. Courtesy is expected in this limited public forum. The participating time will be limited in 3 minutes per person and 10 minutes overall to guarantee efficient operation of the entire meeting. I'm going to first read the ones that came in through email, and then we will move on to the public line. This is from Heather Stannard. I am writing this email in response to last night's Board of Education meeting. I feel if the CIAC is giving us the go-ahead for our boys to continue to condition, then we should be doing that. I realize that the CIAC and the DPH has not come to terms of what the season will be like, but our boys are waiting patiently to get back on that field with their teammates and coaches to prep for the upcoming season. This has taken a toll on them mentally. I know that the season is not guaranteed, but they need to prep for it no matter what. I also realize that our COVID numbers could go up at a given moment and they could only play one game or all of them. We can't look into the future, but these boys need to be ready and have a chance to play the game that they love so much. The boys will respect that if that should happen. Please let our boys have a season. They have gone through so much since COVID-19 has started. The game of football is their outlet to have some joy in their life at this difficult time. Thank you for your time. Next one is from Brett Fairchild. Hello, my name is Brett Fairchild, and I am a student athlete at Torrington High School for the class of 2023. I understand the risks of having a season, but the CIAC did approve of our football season and our practice, and I believe we should still push to have one. It's important because my team and I and all players across the state have been working so hard, not only as a team, but individually. For most of us, football is always on our mind, and we've been taking every single day out of our summers to become better players and to prepare for our season. For some players, they need a football season to gather film and more experience because for some, their college careers depend on it. And that may be their way for a scholarship and to get into school. We have followed all the guidelines and rules that were put in place to be safe, and we will continue to do so with upcoming practices in order to have a season. All of us have worked so hard and have been very safe and cautious in order to play. I understand the difficulty of things right now, but I hope you will consider this. Next one is from Adrian Fernandez. Adrian Fernandez, graduating in 2023. I believe that we should have our season because everyone during this pandemic has been looking for an outlet to express themselves. Being in the house with limited activities can only keep you occupied for so long.
There's more.
Next one is Brendan
There's
McGowan.
more.
No, he had sent some blank ones prior to that.
It says from my personal experience.
Oh. Let me read off yours. I didn't get it. Mine's my personal. From my personal experience, I have been keeping myself fit, but I still don't get the same drive as I do when I play during the season, and I believe all my fellow teammates will agree with me. I do, however, know that the board is worried about how everyone has been staying safe during this time. But I, Adrian Fernandez, have been following all the COVID rules. I've been wearing my mask, not going to huge gatherings, and staying distant. I believe that we should keep this season alive to show that we are all in this together. Keep everyone occupied, happy, and fit so we can all grow together as a team. Okay, next one is Brendan McGowan. Hi, Fiona. My name is Brendan McGowan, and I'm a student athlete for Torrington High School class of 2022. I write this email in regards to the 2020 Torrington Raiders football season. I understand that the ongoing pandemic is a serious matter and puts all of us players and the coaching staff at risk for contracting the virus. However, over this past few months, the players and coaching staff have followed CIAC social distancing procedures throughout our conditioning program, and I hope that we will be able to put our hard work and play a season this year, even if it is a shortened one. I look forward to hearing your decision on the matter later today. Mikey Isaac. Hello, my name is Mikey Isaac, and I'm graduating in 2022. Please do not cancel football. Our coaches are keeping us safe and protected from COVID-19 and make sure we are okay and always ready for anything. Please let the seniors also have their last season of high school sports. They only have one more shot for anything. Please don't cancel it for them. This is from Vida Patel. Good afternoon. This is Vida Patel. I have recently been told that volleyball season might not be included in the school sports. I think that is unfair to those seniors this year that have dreamed of having a senior year this year, and the fact that it might be canceled is devastating. Not only is it unfair to those seniors, but the underclassmen too. There could be juniors who dream of playing volleyball in college, and 1 year of not having a season could hurt their recruiting process. The sophomores this year have just gotten started, and cutting their season is also brutal of them to do. And the incoming freshmen. Some might have little to no experience and want to try out something new, or have been playing since middle school, and their first year of high school sports is where things start to get a little real for them. and a few challenges, and they need that. Thank you. This is from Sydney Burmis. Hello, my name is Sydney Burmis. I have been playing volleyball for 6 years, all leading up to the biggest season in front of me, my senior year. This year plays a crucial part in my college recruitment. This is happening. I, along with all of the other players, have worked very hard to get to where we are now. We have been waiting and working for this season our entire careers. We are devastated hearing that it might not happen. Please let us represent and fight for Torrington High School as seniors. We want our season. Thank you. This is from Leslie Burmis. I am the mom of a senior volleyball player. My daughter has played school volleyball for 6 years and club volleyball for 5 years. She is currently being actively recruited to play volleyball by several colleges. She has continued physical training throughout the summer and currently has a personal trainer to focus on key aspects of improving her game. Missing her senior volleyball season would have a devastating effect on her. Please allow my daughter and our THS volleyball team, who have worked so hard and are looking forward to playing, have their 2020 season. Thank you, Leslie Burmis. This is from Aiden Traver. Dear Board of Education, my name is Aiden Traver, class of 2021. I am sending this in regards to fall football. Football has been my life for as long as I can remember. It has helped me achieve personal growth and teach me stepping stones I'll need in life. Football has not only taught me how to perform on the field, but also in the classroom. This season is very important to me, not only because it is my last at Torrington High School, but because of how much it means to me. This year, my brother will be joining the Torrington High football team, and I want nothing more than to pass the torch down to him and other young football athletes. I believe that the parents and the coaches will do everything that they can to make it a healthy and successful season. Go Raiders. This is from Alyssa Sabia. Hi, I have been playing volleyball for about 6 years all year round, and this time away from playing has really had me miss being on the court. It would be great if we could have a season this year following all the guidelines. This is from Maggie McGillicuddy. Dear board members, sorry, this is today's. No, this is, I'm looking. I am a parent of children in the Torrington Public Schools and a science teacher at Torrington High School. I would like to reiterate the comments I submitted last night with regard to the current plan for Wednesdays, during which teachers and staff will be in the school building while students are learning from home. My main concerns are and shall remain health and safety. Every teacher I have talked to would love to be back in school with their students 5 days a week. But at the same time, every one of those teachers is extremely concerned about the potential of being exposed to and bringing home a virus to their loved ones. As I stated in my letter last night, there is a defined difference between cleaning and sanitizing. Teachers deserve a safe school environment as much as our students and families do. I have significant concerns about the effectiveness of cleaning and sanitizing around staff who must be in the buildings on Wednesdays. I fear there will be a huge cost to the district to provide all staff with proper PPE that must be worn by everyone in the school while cleaning and sanitizing chemicals are being used. Teachers are professionals and have chosen a selfless career that is dedicated to serving others. Please afford us the courtesy of being treated as professionals who will fulfill our responsibilities. Please trust us to work diligently and with great dedication to our students, families, and the community to ensure that Torrington children will get the best education we can provide during the historic crisis. I again urge the board and Superintendent Lebomsky and her team to reconsider the mandate that staff be in school buildings on Wednesdays. The priority in Torrington has always been the safety of students and staffs. I would hate to have a surge in illnesses and have to close the schools entirely, rather than maintain a high level of caution and be able to continue with the hybrid model. I would much rather be careful and safe. thereby ensuring that Torrington children can continue to learn and grow with teachers during this unprecedented time. Next one is from Amelia. Mrs. Capabianca, my friends and I have been waiting to hear about fall sports and want the Board of Education to not forget how important our Torrington High School volleyball family is. Last year, being part of the team helped me develop friendships as freshmen. Softball was taken in the spring, which was disappointing. Throughout distance learning, I kept thinking about how I would at least have volleyball in the fall because I love to play. We would really like to play and have a season. Thank you. This is from Emma, a student at the high school. I have just been informed that volleyball has not been a subject of concern for the upcoming fall season. As a senior at Torrington High School, I feel as if volleyball girls are being treated unequally. Football and soccer have the same risks as volleyball, if not more. Football specifically requires much more players on the field, as well as contact with many players, posing a higher risk. However, in volleyball, there is a maximum of 12 players on the court. Although it is within a smaller area, each player is designated to relatively their own section of the court. By not allowing volleyball to continue, myself, along with my other senior classmates, will be deprived of the singular year we have all worked hard to get to. My other teammates have also worked extremely hard to be on the team and deserve to continue to get better and participate in the sport. I do not see how it would be fair to allow other sports to continue without volleyball involved as well. This year will mean so much to others, and if we are allowed to play. Nobody deserves to be left out of the game they love. If volleyball cannot happen, I do not see how high school, high contact sports like football and soccer are permitted to play. I hope you will understand my view and try to help make the volleyball season start. This is from Maria White. Hello, my son Joey plays for Coach Rod on the Torrington High School football team, and I am writing in support of allowing football to proceed as planned by the CIAC. While we all understand the season will not be all it has been in previous years, our boys are still willing to and want to participate in whatever capacity these crazy times will allow. A shortened season will be better than no season for these boys. There is no denying that we all have to do our part to keep the virus under control as much as we can, but at the same time, to put every aspect of our lives on hold any longer is unrealistic. Businesses and recreation have been allowed to be open for months now. We are all going to stores and to beaches, and families have even gone on their annual summer vacations. Youth sports have been taking place in many towns all summer. We have already been putting ourselves out there. Connecticut is in good shape compared to many other states. I say we let football happen sooner rather than later while cases are still low. The fact that football is played outdoors makes it less risky than any indoor activity. I understand the pressures you all face in deciding what the right thing to do is, especially when the information about the virus changes on a daily basis. I know you are trying your best to keep our children safe from this illness, but their mental and emotional well-being matter too. Sports are an outlet and escape for many kids that are dealing with emotional and mental distress in their private lives. Our boys are looking forward to going back to school and getting back on the field as well. And I know they will abide by any rules, protocols, and conditions asked of them in order to have the season they deserve. Thank you for your time. This is from Mike Semenich. Good afternoon, Torrington Board of Education. My son will be a junior this fall and is a member of the Torrington High School football team and family. He also plays on the baseball team and lost his spring season earlier this year. I know the decision you have to make regarding football and fall sports is not easy. However, the CIAC has said they plan on going forward with fall sports, including football. My son does not have any more sports seasons left in his high school career. Please let them at least try to get a fall season in. Nobody knows where the COVID numbers will be next week, next month, or next year. But they are low in Connecticut right now, so if there's a time to try it, it is right now. This is from Cora. Good afternoon. I am a student athlete and I will be going into my sophomore year at Torrington High School. I know we might not have a season this fall, but it would be great if volleyball would be considered, and it would mean a lot to all volleyball players, including myself, if we had a season. Thank you. This is from Jennifer Traver. Sorry. Gmail attaches all of the emails. So I gotta make sure I'm reading the right one.
You need it?
Do you have the most current one? Because she sent a bunch of orders.
Oh, I don't know. I just went to the top and opened that one.
She sent one last night too.
Yeah. No, that's last night. Okay. This is the most up to date. I apologize to everybody.
This is today at 3:30.
It's here. Okay, sorry. Okay, good evening, Board of Education. My name is Jennifer Traver. I have 3 boys in the district, but my 2 oldest are in Torrington High School. Aiden Traver, class of 2021, and Aston Traver, class of 2024. This is a follow-up to my letter I submitted yesterday in regards to fall sports, in particular football. I listened to the entire meeting last night in hopes to have a positive outcome for our boys, but now that is my hope for tonight's meeting. There are a few points that were brought up that I would like to voice my opinion on, and forgive me if I misunderstood any of these views. I will be listening for clarity tonight. First, I 100% agree we should be going by what the CIAC decides. It is my understanding the DPH has made suggestions, but if the CIAC says we can proceed with football, I feel we should follow their guidelines. As it was stated last night, the coaching staff and the kids did a really tremendous job following all the guidelines during their conditioning, and there have been no COVID cases. Second, it was stated that logically, it didn't make sense that we are trying to separate the kids and doing the hybrid back to school, but then having the kids practicing every day together just doesn't make sense. That would pertain to all sports. So are we going to not have any sports at all? I know so many parents who base their decision to send their kids to Torrington High School for the sports program and the benefits they can have for their kids' future. It was also stated that it's a concern having the kids in school and wearing the masks, and then at practice having a free-for-all with no masks and huddles. I believe the coaching staff and the kids will be diligent as they were during their conditioning so as to not jeopardize their season if they are able to play. Sanitizing all equipment often. Now I know games are probably a whole other concern, and yes, there is tackling and closer contact, but these kids are also covered almost from head to toe, helmet to cleat. Third, there was a statement made by a gentleman on the board about the kids who really suffer if the board or superintendent decides to not move forward. That is the football players, and that gentleman was completely right. Almost all other sports can participate in other leagues in town or neighboring towns to play their sport. Football cannot. Same gentleman also made a comment about all the kids playing together around town and from all neighboring towns. I understand where he was coming from. Let's try and control what we can control. If their kids are playing their sports and following guidelines, we have some control and a little less fear of what they are bringing into the schools whereas if they have no sports, who knows who and where they are getting in their extracurricular activities. Fourth and final, I just want to again express how extremely important this decision has on these kids if they don't have this outlet. This outlet to blow off steam when you've had a bad day or you need an adult to confide in or seek advice from someone who is not your parent or guardian. Let these seniors have a chance to play their final season. It is so much more than just playing football. Please let the boys start practicing as per the CIAC. Thank you for your time. This is from a second public comment from Leslie Burmis. My daughter will be a senior volleyball player this year. She wants nothing more than to be able to play her senior season. She has had to watch the effects 2020 has had on her brother, who was a senior this past year. He missed out on his prom, graduation, and many other monumental times in his life. Please trust that we will obey all rules set forth in order to play this volleyball season. Please don't take this away from our 2021 seniors. Let them play volleyball. This is from Lindsay and Daryl Becker. Dear Mrs. Capabianca, my husband and I are sending this email to urge you and the board to approve the girls' volleyball season this fall. As you all know, if the girls do not play this fall, the CIAC is stating there will not be a spring season. This would be a truly devastating loss for so many athletes. Our daughter will be a sophomore this year and picked up the sport last year as a freshman. Her father and I both believe a pro-social activity that is engaging both the body and mind is critical, particularly during these pivotal years of her life. Volleyball provides a safe, positive, and healthy outlet for my daughter. It is helping boost her confidence. It helps her work on building relationships as she must rely on a team and vice versa. It keeps her physically active and in shape. All of these things help with mental health as well, which is so important at her age. While we are all aware of the things sports teaches, such as perseverance, sportsmanship, humility, and many other sports are a literal lifeline for so many of our kids. It would be so heartbreaking to see it taken away, especially during these times. School is changing drastically. Let's give our girls something they can be happy about and look forward to. Let's give our senior girls who have worked so hard and are so deserving of their final season a shot. Let's not take away a lifeline from any of these kids. We are confident that there is a safe way for these girls to play, for all of our athletes to play. We urge you to approve all fall sports for all the student athletes in our town. This is from Maddie Becker. Hi, Miss Capabianca. I think if we can have school, we should have volleyball. Volleyball isn't really a contact sport, which makes it pretty much safe. We could sanitize our hands before and after we touch the ball and other things to be safe. Also, it isn't fair to the seniors who have worked so hard and came so far to not have their final season. Thank you. This is from Rachel Donovan. Hi, Miss Capabianca. I'm writing this email in support of the girls volleyball team and how much it would mean to everyone in the school to make sure the season goes on. Thank you. This is from Vivian Tran. As a student and athlete of Torrington High School, it makes me upset that the Board of Education didn't consider volleyball coming back for the fall season of 2020. Volleyball impacts my life a lot and affects my mental health in a good way. It also helps my school ethic and keep me in shape. I believe that volleyball should come back with good regulations to keep everyone safe. Please consider. Thank you. One for public comment. This is from Tina Tran. As a parent of a student athlete, it is unfair that all sports were supposedly not going to be allowed to return. I've talked to other parents within this school district, and it was upsetting to hear that football and soccer are returning and not volleyball, as well as cross country were not allowed to return this season due to the fact that volleyball and cross country has less contact than soccer and football. Football players are almost always in contact with another player, whereas volleyball players only touch the same ball. It has come to my attention, as well as other parents, that football and soccer teams seem to be the main sports that the district cares about, which is unfair to other athletes who work just as hard. All athletes should be given the same opportunity to participate in sports. And then this is from Kelly Hua. As a student athlete, it is upsetting to hear that not all sports were considered to return in the 2020-2021 school year. I believe it unfair that soccer and football are able to return, but volleyball isn't. Not only does it affect me and the volleyball team as a whole, but it also affects other athletes that will not be allowed to return within the school year. Please at least consider letting volleyball return this year. This is from Ella Hooley. Hi, Mrs. Capabianca. Amelia, my sophomore at Torrington High School, loved her first year playing volleyball for Torrington High School. She has been eagerly awaiting for an announcement on when volleyball can start. Please don't forget volleyball as you make your decision about fall sports. Many girls are eagerly waiting. This is from Shelley Sabia. Hi, I would love to see the volleyball team play this year. I am in full support of them playing and do what we need to do to keep all of the kids safe. Thank you. It's from Mindok Tong. As a parent of an athlete at Torrington High School, it makes me upset that there might not be a season of volleyball this year. I can see and understand how volleyball is a big aspect in my child's life and mental health. I believe that the sport should come back, but have regulations to keep everyone safe. We all want our athletes to stay safe and play sport that they love. It is unfair how football and soccer are able to have a sport this school year. Every other sport works just as hard and should have the sport they need with the precautions and regulations. Thank you for reading this. From Catherine Clinkscales. Thank you for reading my email. I listened to the Board of Education meeting last night and tried to gauge some of your concerns with allowing football. One that I felt I heard was that having the football team together would cause cohorts to mix. While I understand the theory of having cohorts to decrease amount of potential exposures, many students do not just go to school and return home with no other interaction. Other sports will also cause a mixing of cohorts. Like I expressed in my previous email, all fall sports had been safely practicing since July 6th. It's difficult to understand why that stopped. I can understand in an abundance of caution, pausing moving forward, but why stop something you've been doing successfully? I give a tremendous amount of credit to the coaching staff for implementing a safe conditioning program and equal credit to athletes being compliant. I feel that any student attending the conditioning had parents in support for moving forward with fall sports. If conditions had changed, I think people could understand the change in guidance. However, there were no changes. As a parent, watching my child on the emotional roller coaster of fall sports has been heartbreaking. Of course, as a parent, my child and every other child's health and safety is the most important thing. But they were practicing and keeping everyone healthy. Please let them try to move forward with a season. If fall sports are canceled, I'm sure leagues and pickup games will still happen. It will not be the same. These athletes will not get to have pride in their school and community putting on their Torrington uniform. They won't experience that same brotherhood. If fall sports are canceled, there will be no regulation on these activities. The CIAC, DPH, and school will give up the ability to try and regulate sports to make them safe. There will be no coach, no trainer, no paramedic, and no ambulance waiting in case the unthinkable happens. By canceling sports, you'll take additional structure out of their day and your ability to place rules and regulations. Please keep an open mind when thinking about canceling sports. It has a much larger impact on these athletes than you may realize at first glance. This is from Sophia Calabrese. My name is Sophia Calabrese, and I am an incoming freshman at Torrington High School. Volleyball has always been something that I enjoy doing because I had such a love for the game. I really would love to be able to play my first season of Torrington High School volleyball this fall. I have been working all summer on my skills as well as participating in other leagues to help build my stamina and abilities. I look forward to being able to possibly play this fall and being able to create a bond with my coaches and teammates. Thank you. From Shanley Richardson. Hello, my name is Shanley Richardson, and I will be a junior this year, and I would love more than anything to have a season. Thank you. This is from Jess Richardson. As a parent of a Torrington High School volleyball player, I would like to express my support for the volleyball season proceeding as fully as possible following the maximum guidelines recommended by the CIAC. Despite the fact that it would be played inside, the structure of the game of volleyball allows for sufficient distancing between students as much as the regular school day does, and it does not provide an increased risk to the students who participate. Additionally, if needed, volleyball players could wear an athletic style mask, which would further reduce any concerns of transmission if players are yelling plays to each other or sitting on the sidelines. Many of the girls who play volleyball also play spring sports and were unable to play during their spring season. While it is true that there are travel leagues for volleyball available in our area, these leagues were also shut down in March due to the virus. Additionally, these leagues are very costly and are not accessible to a large number of students. Even if every student could attend to play in these leagues, since they do not begin until the winter, it is likely that they will be negatively impacted by the virus if our rates increase as the weather gets colder. The best opportunity for our athletes to participate in sports is right now, while our rates are low, and Connecticut is one of the healthiest states in the nation. If the CIAC allows it, please let these girls play. It can be done safely, and it is important. Thank you. From Michelle Gallant. Dear Ms. Capabianca and other members of the Torrington Board of Education, I hope after reading this, you can clarify my confusion about the delay of the Torrington High School football season. It is my understanding that until the present time, the CIAC has been in control over Torrington school sports. Why all of a sudden is the Department of Public Health in control over the teams? I would think from changing from control from the CIAC to the Department of Public Health would be something that would need to be at least discussed, if not voted on by the board. I can't understand why the Board of Ed is standing in the way of these young men playing a sport they have been conditioning for over a month. Understandably, before an athlete can play in a sport, a physical must be performed by a physician. In addition, a health assessment record or physical form must be signed off on by the physician, which gives the player permission from the physician to play. Why is it that I am in possession of that form signed by my son's physician, the person who is in charge of his overall health? However, the Board of Ed feels as though they can overrule the CIAC and physician's decision by not allowing the season to take place. This is from Alyssa Sabia. Hi, I have been playing volleyball for about 6 years, all year round, and this time away from playing has really had me miss being on the court. It would be great if we could have a season for this year following all of the guidelines. That is all of the written comments. Is there anyone on the phone that wishes to address the board?
I think think there was a couple others that we got. in
Yeah,
the email.
sorry.
Yeah, I see them.
Sorting them. Hold on, I do have a couple more to read. I apologize. Yeah, but is that Jody Calabrese? Okay, this is from Jody Calabrese. Hoping that the Torrington Board of Education will have a discussion about bringing back sports for the fall and winter seasons. This family has 2 athletes who participate in sports, volleyball, basketball, and track at Torrington High School, and we look forward to great seasons. Sports are such an important part of personal development and kids as a whole. Missing out on the social and physical elements that sports bring to the board has had an impact on the kids. Please consider bringing back all fall sports, but especially volleyball.
There's 2 more.
No, Scott Minnerly is not to be read. It's just for the board. Michelle Nady.
Yeah, at 2:32, I have it down.
To whom it may concern, good afternoon. I hope this email finds you well. I am a parent of a student athlete who will be entering their sophomore year at Torrington High School. We are writing to express our support and interest in the volleyball program being allowed to play this upcoming fall season. I know that volleyball is not always considered as a major sports program, but for the girls that participate, it is very important to them. I know with all the uncertainty in the air for school itself and sports in general, that the season may not happen, but if there is any possibility, I hope that volleyball is considered. Thank you, Michelle Nady. Okay, sorry. Now we will open it up to the public line. Is there anyone from the public that wishes to address the board? Are they unmuted?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just one person. It's Ronnie.
Oh, okay. Okay. Hang on. Information sharing, superintendent's report.
So we are very excited to welcome back our staff tomorrow and have the school year kickoff. Before we start, we have many mass donations, which we so appreciate. PAL, our Police Athletic League, donated 1,500 masks, which Ed and Chris Paganini delivered. We got to do a photo op the other day with Chris Medic, who runs PAL, and their whole team over there, and Chief Baldwin's really nice. So they are donating 2 masks for each staff member. And then Bob Stefanowski and his team are going to be with Channel 3 tomorrow at the middle school, and they're donating 2,000 to 3,000 masks between 9:30 and 12:30. And those are 2 masks per student, and they'll be dropping off some staff masks as well. So very, very nice community effort. And then also Jane Slaby, our former Vogel Wetmore nurse, she made masks for our students in grades K through 3. So that's lovely, and we're going to be distributing them as well. Due to the mass distribution, because we would like to be over at the middle school, and certainly board members pop on over and say hi if you would like. You don't have to work, just can give a wave. So we will be at the mass distribution, and then also, because we are still in phase 2 of the governor's reopening plan, we videotaped convocation. Fiona came yesterday, we appreciate that. And it will be shown tomorrow morning before they actually do their staff meetings. A little bit different, but still we wanted to make sure that we had the opportunity to do that. Last evening, John Barlow, the facilities director, and I answered many questions about cleaning and disinfecting of the buildings. As I said last night, so many things have changed over the last few weeks, obviously the last few months. I mean, when we first started in this whole process, we were washing down our groceries when we brought them home. And so that was a long time ago. And so the changes really have evolved. Originally, when we did the hybrid schedule, we really thought that we would need to have that Wednesday deep clean, and staff wouldn't be able to be in the buildings. And now, because of John and Ed's creativity and problem solving and staffing, we really have been able to do deep cleaning and plan for deep cleaning each and every day so that everybody in our buildings are safe. I know a number of teachers spoke yesterday, but we're really talking about not only teachers, we're talking about our secretaries that have been in the buildings for quite some time now, our custodians, our paras, our administrators. So we want to ensure that everybody is safe at all times, and certainly being able to get back to a new sense of normal. So you heard many statements tonight from our parents in terms of sports and wanting to get back to what they know and what they love about school. So if we can do that, we certainly want to. Basically, the schedule, if you weren't able to listen last night, was to really ensure that we had our custodians working very hard during the day. And then Ed and John worked on securing sanitizers. So not only do we have custodians in the building, we also have sanitizers who will come from the lunchtime on and then into the evening, 8-hour shifts each. We'll start from a lunchtime into the afternoon with one sanitizer extra at each building. And then from the end of the day on into the evening shift, another sanitizer at each one of the elementaries and 2 at the middle school and the high school. So we really have that opportunity to do that disinfecting, that cleaning, that deep cleaning every single day. To do that rigorous cleaning. I know in the paper, they kind of summarized that a little differently. We do rigorous cleaning every single day, and certainly John can speak to that in just a second. And the other thing that we have realized over time, we talk with the DPH every single week, and as recently as Monday, they were reiterating to superintendents in the region that the contamination doesn't come from the surfaces. The contamination comes from the droplets, which is why we're all asked to wear the masks, which is why we're all asked to have our students distanced. And so it's really important to make sure that we are adhering to that. And I'm going to let John just talk a little bit about the disinfecting and cleaning. But the other component that we knew that was important, and I was mentioned also last night, is the whole daycare issue. And when we went to hybrid, we knew that this would be difficult for our families. And some of our families are also our staff members who are trying to look for that daycare piece. So our parents, our staff who have families of young children and are looking for daycare. I think it was earlier this week, I had gotten out a link. So anybody who's still looking for daycare, Ed Advance still has openings in terms of their daycare that they are providing. The 211 link that I sent out to all staff. We also have that posted. Donna Labby did a great job. That's posted on our Facebook. If anybody in the community needs daycare, we know that that's a challenge just overall. So the sooner we can get back to a sense of normalcy in person, the better. We will be monitoring the health metrics throughout September and really seeing where we're at each week, but even more seriously after we do this for a 2-week period, and then do a check-in to see where we're at, and if there is no spread, possibly even gradually moving back into a little more normalcy even before that October 2nd date. But we really would like to make sure that we have that time within those first 2 weeks to adjust with the hybrid schedule in place. We really think that that's a huge piece of things. So we've been through a lot in our district. This is just one more piece. We know that we can meet this challenge and we can have a very successful year. I'm just going to have John address a little bit of the cleaning pieces, just to reassure not only staff, but our community members, our family members, as they're sending their students September 8th.
So as we discussed last night in a special meeting, and I'll reiterate what we talked about last night, for anybody that's concerned about the cleaning chemicals that we use, they are the exact same cleaning chemicals that we have been using for quite a number of years. They are posted on our website under the facilities section. under the green cleaning program. Chemicals that we use for cleaning have to be Eco Lab or Green Shield certified. Disinfectants are EPA registered. They're all listed there, so you can look up the chemicals. You can pull up the MSDS sheets and check the health hazards and all that stuff on the chemicals, but these are the safest chemicals that we can put out in front of everybody and still be effective to do the job. As far as the cleaning schedule is concerned, your cleaning will look like this for a week. On Monday, the building will start out clean in the morning. Day custodians will come in, they'll open up the building. They'll be going around doing their normal day-to-day custodial duties in the morning with routine miscellaneous cleaning that they've always done. At around 11 o'clock for most buildings, some buildings might slightly be early depending on dismissal time, a sanitizer will be coming in to assist the daytime custodians. In the elementary school, that will be one custodian and a sanitizer. In the secondary schools, that will be 2 custodians and a sanitizer. That sanitizer will be working on the cleaning of the bathrooms. We're required to clean the bathrooms twice a day. So this is the first cleaning. So we start out cleaning with bathrooms. This will be the first cleaning of the bathrooms on that twice a day schedule. That will happen through the lunch waves. That sanitizer will be continuing to work on the high contact surface areas, all right, until we get to dismissal time. At dismissal time, a second sanitizer now comes in to work with the sanitizer that's in our building already, plus our night custodians. In most of the elementaries, that's 2 custodians. In the secondaries, that's 3 of our own custodians, plus the 2 sanitizers. The sanitizers will solely be working on high contact surface areas, desks, and chairs. They will be wiping down every single desk and chair, cleaning it, and then they will be disinfecting it. So to understand real quick about the difference between cleaning, disinfecting, and sanitizing, because there's a lot of confusion. Cleaning is when you actually use a cleaning chemical to clean the germs with a soap product or soapy water or some type of a cleaning product. After you do that, you've removed probably about 90% to 99% of the germs off of the surface. The disinfecting takes care of the remaining germs that are on the surface. And sanitizing is when you clean and disinfect together, you have sanitized the piece because now you're at 99.9% of removal of all the germs. So that's the way the schedule looks on Monday. Looks the same that way on Tuesday. Tuesday night after the students leave, all the desks will be sanitized again. And then on Wednesday, our schedule is a little bit different where we don't have the sanitizers coming to the building, but we run our same normal custodial shifts. So our day custodians will come in, they'll work during the day, they'll start cleaning bathrooms. As they clean those bathrooms, they'll be shutting down those bathrooms and kind of, getting more and more of those bathrooms clean. We'll shut them down so that they remain clean so that we start with a fresh set of bathrooms on Thursday. After our staff leaves the building at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, our night custodians then take over and they will do the additional sanitizing for when our staffs were in the building. They'll be cleaning in and around the classrooms, the doors, the bathrooms again will all get cleaned all over again. And then that gives us a chance on those Wednesdays to put a little more attention to detail on some of the areas that we want to clean a little bit better and make sure that we're ready to go for the next set of cohorts that start. And then Thursday starts that same schedule I kind of explained on Monday, Thursday, and Friday, except for the only difference on Friday is that on Friday nights, the sanitizing company will be cleaning the bathrooms with a machine that's called, we call it a Kaivac machine. It's a bathroom cleaning machine. It's a pressure washer, a chemical dispenser. It really gets in and does a fantastic job of cleaning the overall bathrooms in all of the surfaces in the bathroom from top to bottom. It has a vacuum on it. It sucks the water up. That's going to be done every Friday. So that would leave the bathrooms perfectly clean for the start of school on Monday. And then we're back to the same routine on Monday.
Thank you, John.
That's it.
That's great. I
Okay.
appreciate it. You're off the hook.
Okay, any questions on the superintendent's report? Go ahead, Vicki.
How will the cleaning happen between the mask breaks?
We will be establishing a protocol for mask breaks. We are, at the elementary, it's a little bit easier because they have recess, so they have an opportunity to go out. We also will have mask breaks for middle school and high school students. They have a tented area outside, so when there is inclement weather, they can still have an area to go out. And then middle school and high school, they're developing a schedule so that they do get some time to just be outside, get some fresh air, have some of the breaks. They were also talking about possibly doing some outdoor classes beyond just like a PE. And so when you're in the classroom, it's going to be a brief time when the students don't have their masks on. If they're eating their breakfast, then John could speak a little bit about the tables and the wiping. We don't want students using chemicals or touching things because it's just not appropriate for them, especially for our youngest of students. Hand washing is really the best. So what we've heard from DPH, after students are eating, they're using they're washing their hands, and our elementary classrooms have sinks within the room, so that works out very well. The middle school and the high school students, every single classroom will have hand sanitizer in the room, so then they can use the hand sanitizer. It's usually touching certain things and then putting the mask back on and then using the sanitizer. It is going to take time away from instruction, unfortunately, but we really feel like this is of benefit as we're going through our classroom routines.
Thank you.
Gary.
But during those breaks, they'll be maintaining social distancing.
Sure, they're going to be
So they'll have their
maintained.
6 to 12 feet.
Correct. Well, yeah,
Or whatever.
four to
whatever the
six.
requirements are.
Yeah.
They're not going to be
Yep.
unmasking and congregating.
No. The students are sitting at their desks. And
Oh, okay.
remember, from pre-K to 8, they are in cohorts. So the students are staying within their classrooms and the adults are coming to them. And then the high school is where the students are moving around the building, but they will have staggered arrival and dismissal even within the building, just off by a little bit so that we don't have a lot of students in the hallway. They have directional signals. I think they were already working on putting those, putting the tape on the floor so the students know which direction to go in.
Just like the supermarket, when you go up
That's
the wrong
right.
aisle, you get cleared at.
That's right. Exactly. Yep. So it helps.
Go ahead, Jeff.
In the age groups that are not cohorted where the students are changing classes, is there cleaning that will take place in the individual rooms between classes?
Yeah, so the teachers have, I think they
So
have wipes or something, right?
the teachers are given at all grade levels from pre-K through 12. The teachers are going to be given a product which is on our list. It's called 18. It's a hydrogen peroxide cleaner, H2O2 cleaner. It is the safest thing that we can give them that has both cleaning effects and sanitizing effects to it. I don't want teachers to have the straight disinfectant that we use, the healthcare detergent disinfectant. It is a product that can be very dangerous. It does require certain PPEs and stuff to be used, which our custodial staff knows how to use that product and how to be safe with it. So we will give them the H2O2, and they will also be given microfiber cloths. Those cloths will be changed out daily. We have enough cloths to rotate those through the thing. Once they wet the cloths down with the H2O2 product, that sanitizes the cloth. No matter how much they wipe up of disease or germs off of the table, as long as that cloth remains wet and it stays sanitized in it, they can continue to clean with that.
But they have access to gloves.
And they do have access to gloves if they want. Yep.
So there's not like a custodian or sanitizer that's coming, it's the teacher's responsibility to wipe down all the desks in between classes?
There's gonna have to be some help from everybody on this. There's, you know, if you look at the middle school, there's 1,100 desks at the middle school and chairs.
Yeah,
There's
no, I was just.
1,000 desks
Yeah.
at the high school. You know, we will be doing the best that we can do, and we will provide all the services that we can and all the help, but you know, when you look at the life of a custodian during the day, it's very busy. There's, you know, they're trucking back and forth all the time. They never stop.
And even with the sanitizers, even with the hybrid, it will be difficult to get every single desk
Yeah, no,
in between.
I
The
couldn't
teachers
figure
are
out how
gonna
that
do
would
their
work. That's why I was
services.
just trying to wrap
It's
my
not-
head around
washing
it.
Which
hands
is
is so
why we're
important.
correct.
Yeah.
And so then that's what we're telling students to be doing. When they're entering and when they're exiting, they're using the hand sanitizer.
Right, use the
And so-
sanitizer, right, as long as they continue to use the sanitizer entering and exit the room, it really is gonna take and dramatically reduce the transmission of any of the disease, you know. And the fact that we know now that the CDC says that the likelihood that it's transmitted from a hard surface to you is very unlikely. You know, we're in a good place, I think, as far as the way we set our cleaning up.
Ellen?
My question's on if we decide to have sports back and practicing as such, is that going to affect having like an additional sanitizer or
No,
we'll still be
it's-
able to, within budget, we'll still be
Yeah,
able to?
there is a clear set of guidelines from the CIAC, and, you know, they certainly talk about the fact of no locker use and the fact that personal equipment, school-issued equipment that's issued to the students is their personal responsibility to clean. So we wouldn't be sanitizing pads and helmets and volleyballs and those kinds of things. It would be the responsibility of the students who are issued that equipment to make sure that that stuff is cleaned and sanitized. So it really doesn't affect us much. I mean, our normal custodial routine will still remain the same way. I mean, we'll still be cleaning and sanitizing those areas, disinfecting those areas, but I don't see any extra steps that we have to take in order to bring more people. We can still cover all that.
Right, and then even if we do have use of the locker rooms, CIAC will send out very strict guidelines. And then I think within the support and the help that we have, we can make sure that we are cleaning and sanitizing, disinfecting all of those areas as well. So even if we had to add those pieces.
Gary?
So with respect to sanitizer, are we recommending, and I just asked the question, that the parents tell their children not to bring their own sanitizer in? So they're not grabbing at their bags? I mean, I don't know if it's an issue that matters, but if we have enough out, do we want kids to be bringing in their own sanitizer?
Yeah, I mean,
just
if
asking
they
the
feel better, sometimes people, I've seen a lot of places, especially if you go to a restaurant, people bring their own little
Correct.
mini hand sanitizer, and I think that's fine.
Okay.
But I think it's more important that we're focusing in on what we're responsible for and what we're providing. So that's above and beyond. We want to make sure that everybody has access to that. And I think
My
that's what's
concern
important.
with that too is that, you know, we do have to be concerned with the level of health concerns that, you know, using that amount of sanitizer can possibly cause. And there may be students that have dermatology issues or sensitivity issues to the types of hand sanitizer that we're using. And maybe they can't use an alcohol-based sanitizer. So to tell them no, I don't, you know, I think they're all going to have it anyways, and that's okay.
I just wanted clarification.
Yeah, and our nurses can get that information out. It's a good point. We can add that to our introductory message.
You also might have an anxious child that just
Right.
needs to do it, because they
Right.
need to do it.
This is gonna sound odd, but is there any possibility of having the last like 2 minutes of class for the upper grades? And actually have the kids wipe down their own desks and wash their hands before they leave?
They actually said that we could not
Yeah.
have children
Okay.
do it and
So,
be involved.
so when you
Yeah.
look at the MSDS sheets
we
on our
understand.
cleaning chemicals, one of the things that comes out on the cleaning chemical write-off is do not put this chemical in the hands of children.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's the
Enough
first
said.
thing. But secondly, I would never want somebody to give my child a chemical to clean their desk with. If I gave it to them, it would be a different story, but it's not a good practice to do that. That really concerns me about putting chemicals in children's hands.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. Nikki, go ahead.
With the new information on the surface transfer, will the elementaries be allowed to use more of like the manipulatives, the books, sharing, things like that, so much that's been built into their curriculum? Or are we still kind of keeping?
We're gonna start slow on that, but it does allow us some flexibility. I'll have Sue talk a little bit about the books. We're starting there. Because we don't want them to do pieces that they're going to share in terms of the manipulative piece. They're still gonna have their own items, but I think we've come up with some good solutions for book share.
Yeah, so one of the things that we've talked about and that we're going to start to implement with respect to book sharing is the students can, so in an elementary classroom, I'm sure you've seen, the kids have book bins with their just right books. And we're going to continue to do that. And then throughout the cycle, so when the child, let's say it's every week, at the end of the week, the teacher will collect the book bins. Those books will be taken out of circulation, if you will, for a week before they're recycled to somebody else. And we certainly have a lot of books, so we're able to do this. And this is also something that we'll be able to do in our libraries. When this first started, we didn't think we'd be able to really allow kids to use the libraries, but all of our students will be able to access the library collections on our Destiny system online. And they can request, they can check out their books that way. The books will be delivered. And when they're returned, they'll just be set aside for a few days before they're put back into circulation.
That's great.
That's what a lot of public libraries are doing too.
Oh, good.
Quarantining the books that come back in
Yeah.
for a few days and then recirculate.
Yeah, we actually, that's
practice.
great. I didn't realize that. We actually, this is kind of silly. We got the idea from big box store dressing rooms. If the dressing rooms are open, they don't, and you try something on, they put the clothes in quarantine before they let somebody else try it. So we said, let's try that with our library. Yeah.
Okay, any other questions on the superintendent's report? Are you all set, Ed? Ed?
All set, thank you.
Okay, perfect. PD and instruction update.
Yeah, so we've been working on, so tomorrow is obviously welcome back day for all of our staff. Tomorrow is going to be, as Sue was saying, convocation. We recorded the convocation speeches yesterday. So the principals are going to show that convocation video tomorrow. Everybody's going to report to their site. And people have the option throughout the week, because we have beginning tomorrow and through September 4th, we have the opportunity to have our staff experience professional development. So convocation in the morning, it's going to look very different than in the past. The principals are setting up viewing parties in all of their schools. So teachers and staff members have the opportunity, based on their own comfort level with gathering, they can watch the convocation video in a large space on a screen with 25 people or so, or they can maybe decide that they just want to sit with their grade partners in a smaller group. They also have the option of just logging on their own in their classroom if they really want to do it individually, if they just haven't gotten to the point where they've been, with people. We also have some folks who have requested remote assignments during this time who are going to be participating in this professional learning week remotely. Tomorrow afternoon at every building will be the welcome back building-based staff meetings. That's typically a full afternoon of information, especially now when there's so much technical information that has to be shared. And there's so many new protocols and procedures that people really have to internalize before we get going. And then Friday, the 28th through the entire next week is all professional learning. And the way that we've structured it this year, the offerings are all virtual. However, we've asked our staff to come physically to the building so that they can be present. And if they're comfortable, they can gather with their colleagues, their grade partners, their
department team members and collaborate, because what we're going to be faced with is going to require an awful lot of partnering and teamwork. We have some things that are required that we have to provide time for during this week. COVID training is among those things. I know that you probably heard about that from the governor, which is why we were given the additional 3 days. So we have relied upon the CDC resources for that. And our Rest Alliance did push out some resources for us. So all of that is going to be shared. We have some new technology platforms. You've heard Allie throughout the summer talk about the upgrades to our the Google Enterprise. So there's going to be opportunities for teachers to learn about all the features that provides. There are other things that we purchased licenses for, one called Pear Deck, another is called Screencastify, Flipgrid, Padlet. I'm sure you've used these things, Armand, or heard of them. We've gotten these licenses for our teachers. In the spring, most of these companies made their resources free until the end of June. So they hook you and you become pretty dependent on these things. So we did purchase the licenses for the year. We also have some outside presenters coming in to one workshop is called Engaging Online Learning. Another is about prioritizing the standards. There's going to have to be some work done because of the huge time that we missed last year, the several months. We're going to have to make some curricular adjustments, and we're going to have to figure out a way to compact the work. If you think about a first grader missed an entire trimester of first grade. So there's work that needs to be done around that. There's going to be collaboration time. I know we've heard from our teachers and we listened to that. We understand the work that needs to happen and they need the time to do that work. So we've built in plenty of time for them to be together and to really prepare to open school and to get a jump on things. We also have some training, I guess it's training. It's more just sort of reminders about the trauma that this has caused for some of our kids and our families and for our staff, and how we can open schools with that mindset, with that, the importance of really looking through that social emotional lens as we reopen school. So it's 7 days of PD, sounds like a lot, but it really isn't. I mean, it really isn't. We could probably do this for several weeks and still feel like there's work to be done. So I sent out the grid tonight. Never done anything like this in my life. I had, thankfully, the help of Maureen Mazzato and Andrew Deacon and Allie. So we put together this grid with hyperlinks so that everybody is able every single day to come in and find who they are, their role, their assignment, where to click, and away we go. So we always did it the old-fashioned way. It was just a Word document and a table and a little brochure. I was very comfortable with that format. And
Me too.
This is just a whole new level of learning for me. But anyway, so that's where we're at. And then I also see that this says instruction update. When we talked about the sample days at last night's meeting, I don't know if you want me to go over that again, but there's going to be a combination. It's a blended learning experience. So it's a combination of in-person, virtual, independent, small group. We're going to do our very best to replicate, approximate a traditional experience for kids, the good aspects of a traditional experience for kids, but even children who are in classroom physically present are going to have a Chromebook with them because some of what they're doing we have to rely on the technology.
Gary.
So that I sent around a Wall Street Journal article today.
Yes, I
Probably
saw
some
it.
couldn't open it, but have we been, are we experiencing the same problem, or are we seeing any progress with the supply lines, or no?
We're still waiting on some items, and
Yeah.
some items were perfectly fine. A lot of things. I
It's
mean,
not just us, it's everywhere. right?
no, of course. And so, we're hoping for a lot of things by this Friday.
Okay.
But also planning for possibly Monday. So everything this year is fluid and flexible, and we have plan A, B, and C. Because that's the only constant that's gonna occur this year, is change.
It was a coincidence. It was in last night.
Yeah, I saw it too. And, honestly, this whole summer has just been a game of hurry up and wait. It's just, that's all we do. And it's very frustrating. And it's frustrating for families. We're getting a lot of calls.
I know.
When can I pick up a Chromebook for my child? So, there's
That's
a-
why I shared it. Because
Yep, there's a lot that has to be done and scheduled, and we're just kind of holding our breath.
Ellen,
But I think it's good we're opening on the 8th because there's a lot of schools now who can't get, and they have to
Right.
delay a week or delay 2 weeks. So
Yeah.
we have that, maybe, fingers crossed, so that, we'll get it within the next
Even
week.
though we ordered in June.
I know,
Yeah.
I know.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Ally said we were among the first districts in the state to order, right? I mean,
If
we
not
got,
the first.
right.
Yeah.
And the fellow we deal with is picking up all of the extra costs for transportation. So of course, he's trying to get it here faster. And we're a priority district.
Wow.
they can't make them as fast as everyone's ordering.
Yeah.
I know,
Right.
that's the thing.
Exactly.
Right.
A
Just want the
lot of the
public to know that.
things, right,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nikki,
I had this thought yesterday after leaving the meeting. A lot of the programs the elementary kids use are there's sound to them. I'm thinking like the math, the reading. Will they need headphones? Will you be providing headphones? Will we need, will parents need to purchase headphones or?
So we're providing that, they'll have all the equipment that they need. But you're right, it's a good question, because can you imagine?
Can't even handle just two going.
I know.
Jess,
So is every single student being provided a Chromebook, or is it only the students who don't have their own devices?
No, this year it's every single
Everybody.
student.
Everybody's getting
we had the Dalio Foundation,
Right.
had donated all those computers, and then we were able to get the additional ones through Alliance. So,
And staff,
be nice. Ally,
We're actually providing devices based on specific class need. So some of the classes will just be a regular Chromebook. Whereas, once you get to the high school, there's going to be Photoshop, there's going to be CAD, computer science, some math stuff, all these kind of things don't run on Chromebooks. So as part of the Dalio computers that we receive, those students will receive actual real laptops.
any other questions on PD instructional update?
I
Special
had
ed,
one more, but I can't remember what it was. It
You have
totally just escaped me. So I may have to come back to it.
okay. Special education update.
Hi, everybody can hear me, right? Then can you hear me? All right, awesome. I have a big mouth, so. So I gave you a little bit of an update last night. I finally feel, I think today, maybe for the first time, a little bit above water. So that's exciting. I feel like we're ready. So Sue and I and who else? Kim and the other Sue met with the peer reunion virtually and answered a lot of their questions. There was, a lot of still uncertainty. So I felt that went very well. I think they're set to go. All the assignments are set. So the teachers, the parents, everybody knows who they have to hook up with tomorrow. And we accounted for all the kids. Unfortunately, there's still a few parents we haven't heard back from yet. So we put the, the surveys out and then phone calls. Are you sending your child? Are you not? We really tried very hard to make sure we could really plan very well for all of our kids. And we've been able to get most of them. We still don't know about some. So we are set the best that we can be for that first day, knowing where each kid's going to be, or those that are being taught virtually 100%, who's going to be doing that. in addition to what Sue was talking about with the PD, the special education, the whole department is on that. So it was a really nice opportunity to look at our entire department. So all the groups, the resource teachers, the autism teachers, the emotionally disturbed programs, the paras, the psych, social workers, speech, all the people I oversee. And they each have their own section on the grid. So in addition to the training that is required, we were really able to provide them with some things that they've been asking for. So when I came on board, the biggest thing the parents were asking for example, was to be CPR and first aid trained. So this week we are getting all 150 paras CPR and first aid trained, and they will be taking the certification test too. So that's exciting to be able to do those kinds of things. Social workers, psychologists are getting a lot of social emotional learning, trauma, how to help the kids transition back. Our autism programs are working with our BCBAs as far as individual programming for students, and our Thrive programs, our behavioral programs, are also working with our new in-district BCBA and our behaviorists and our RBTs. So I'm excited at the start of the year, we have this opportunity to provide them with really specific training that I think they're gonna need, and we've gotten a lot of positive feedback about that. So we're set to go. Next month, I will provide for you an update on our numbers, because obviously we were doing that all the time, and then things went a little bit wonky when COVID struck. But I will give you our final numbers for the year, and then also our new numbers starting. I'll give you for June, and then our new numbers to start the new year in August, so that we can kind of see overall how we did, and then get ready to go on with this coming year. Okay?
Any questions? I only have one question. Have we had a lot of new enrollments over the summer? I'm just curious with the, the house market, if that's resulting in additional children, or if people haven't registered yet. I understand if you don't know, just for future, I'm just kind of curious. Keep reading about it in the newspaper.
Sure. In terms of SPED or just overall?
Overall.
So we've had some influx, which has been good, but because people are choosing a variety of different educational opportunities, if you will, some people are choosing homeschooling. Some people are doing the 100% distance learning. So they're still included in our enrollment. But it's so strange because of the large increase in terms of homeschooling. People, I'm sure you've seen on the TV, are accessing these pods. So that's a whole portion of enrollment that I think is hitting every school. We have been able to gain back some of our students from magnet schools, which has been nice. So that's a nicer trend, that students are starting to think, hey, I really do want to go to my neighborhood schools. And I think even from our VOAGs, they have not maxed out. So that's the first time since I've been here. So yeah, that's a positive.
Maybe for September, maybe we can see just
Sure.
how many people are in person, how many are distance, and how many are
Sure.
homeschooling,
Yeah.
just out of curiosity, but if you don't have time, we could do
Yeah,
it in
next time we
October.
do that.
But but sometime in the future, I think
Sure.
it'd be good
We're
just for us
still
to see.
sending out verifications for all the Region 6 and Region 7.
Yep.
They have to get it in by September 1. And any new person who comes from wherever, they still also have to verify that they live in town and make sure that they send all the credentials of vaccinations. We're getting a couple people don't want to do that, but
Yeah.
we're not
Yeah.
enrolling them.
Right, we had to make hundreds of phone calls at
Oh,
every
sure.
school, because there were hundreds of families who just didn't respond to any of our outreach, so that was a pretty labor intensive task.
Can I ask a question, Fiona?
Go ahead.
So that's so exciting to hear about the shift out of Magnet and the VOAG. Do we think it's meaningful enough that it would impact the budget?
I think those, we would really have to take a serious look at the numbers. We're starting to see a trend, but I don't know if it's significant enough to start to see a budgetary. But when we look at those numbers and we have a chance to really back down and just reflect on that piece and look at what's real, you know, you're looking at it, but you're looking at it as a whole, as it's passing by. What I'm signing, what I'm not signing, where are the kids? Like Sue says, we're trying to find out what their decisions are, or we know that some kids are coming back. So we don't know what the end result is. So next month, we'll be able to give you a bigger, better picture of that.
And the lower amount of those kids, remember, it's a 3-year average. So if the 9th graders don't show up.
Right, at the VOAGs.
At the VOAG schools, it's a 3-year average.
Okay, any other questions on this item before we move on? Thank you very much. Monthly financials. Armin, do you want to take it or Abed?
There's really
There's
not,
really
a lot-
nothing.
really nothing to really
Right.
report. Or
We get into it usually in the October meeting when September is finished and we have the projections for tuition and so forth. Right now, it's nothing. You want to go over that too?
Yeah, I just, I know that this is not on the monthly financials, but this can add to the monthly financials or at least inform things. Hopefully going forward and in terms of people's worries about funding, I think that this is important.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, I don't know if Laura and John have, do you both have some? John and, so you probably heard that the governor was setting aside funding for PPE. And we got the numbers at the end of last week. But then we also got a correction today, like an hour before this meeting. So, and yeah, well, our amount went down a little bit,
Yeah.
but yeah,
we were at.
we were at
the-
804.
Right, 804,
Yeah.
because I looked at the, when
Yeah.
it came out in the news.
Yeah, and then it changed. And so now we have what's real. As
We
I
hope.
say, things
We
keep, we hope, exactly. So a lot of these things keep changing. Do you want to speak a little bit about this? Ed?
Yeah.
Are you-
In the packet is the old one that
It's an
came
hour
out. So what they've really changed is
exactly.
the monitors on the buses. Again, that may not affect us if we can't get monitors, so that would go down.
Or if we don't need them, because we
Correct.
have so few
Correct.
students on the
We
buses.
also, if you look at the sanitizers, we made that contract, so we saved almost $200,000 there.
Wow.
If you look at, so what, right now, it's 1.8 million that we're looking at right now. It could change. We've POs, purchase orders, and payments are 666,000, and hopefully we'll get 656,000 back. And you can see most of it's coming from the supplies, 480,000, a little out of teachers, personnel, some out of the nurses, and some out of special ed transportation. But the big bulk is for the supplies that we're anticipating. This is as of 4:15.
Right,
Yeah.
today.
Today, it's hot off the press, as they say.
Armin, can I just ask one question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just for like the sanitizers, is that amount for the whole year?
Yes,
Yeah.
Okay,
If we need them for the whole year, right?
correct.
right.
Because this is as we need it.
Right,
Contract.
if you go back
Yep.
to distant learning, it goes away, things
Right.
change. If you add an additional day, it's gonna increase.
Gary,
So Ed, or Sue's, the state's not requiring monitors, or they are? Under
No.
their metrics, they're not requiring.
They're not requiring, they're recommending, and once again, well, that's
know,
what was,
that's what they
you
do.
asked,
I know.
and so then that was in the recommended, it wasn't in the requirement section, and they gave us those two different, so it was part of the guidelines. But as I said last night,
Right.
you know, when we started to look at how many students we might have on a bus, if we only have 18 students on a bus, then we're really able to even do a row in between one student in a seat. It becomes much more manageable. And some buses, we may have even less than that in terms of the hybrid. Remembering that we still need to run all 53 buses because of the routes and where they're going. So.
So the public understands, if it's 18 kids and we can alternate rows, we're still complying with CDC requirements.
Yeah, we're doing
we're
great
doing
in
everything
terms
we have
of
to do.
that.
And maybe that
Absolutely.
number, maybe we won't need as many monitors, is that what you think? If that.
Right, that's what we're hoping, and then we're gonna be providing the masks to the students as they get on the buses. It's just much easier. If we had started full in person, it would have been really difficult. We have some of our buses that really are at capacity, and that would be very difficult. The other factor that's going into this is half of our parents are saying that they're gonna drive their students. Now, I don't know if that will continue throughout the year,
Right.
but that's where they are starting out at this point. So we'll have to see.
You're gonna have them arriving at different times at the schools?
So the parents usually range within that first, 10, 15 minutes,
It's probably a
it's
school by school
They'll
situation.
Yeah,
figure it out.
exactly.
Because,
They do-
because I know where I
we're gonna
work,
have to see
we
what
have
it
our
looks
own
like.
plan, but
Right, yeah.
different school is,
Right.
it's different because it's set up different, kids are different ages.
Right, and it's all
So-
different from last year.
Right.
Correct. So
Right.
there's
They're
gonna
gonna
be a
have
lot
to
of
It's gonna
different
have to be
factors.
school by
Oh, yeah.
school,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the way
You
they're
have
gonna do
staff
it.
there
And
to
see what
receive them
happens.
too.
Right.
Because every
right.
building's different.
Okay, any other questions on the monthly financials or this COVID report? Go ahead, Nikki.
Thanks. I know, or I believe the document that you passed around, if we were going fully in person, was much higher. I think it was it like another million maybe?
Yes, yes, it was another $1 million.
2,900,000.
Yeah.
It was 2.7 million.
2.7. Do you think so? Even if we go back hybrid and you talked about the first 2 weeks, the first month, and our numbers still remain low, do you think we would run into, or do you anticipate any budget challenges as to what would impact us from moving in person quicker, I guess?
Another $1
we
million we would
Yeah.
need.
Yeah, we wouldn't, you don't want to make decisions about what level you're going or what phase you're in based on the finances. And even the mayor said that at the Board of Finance meeting that Ed and I presented at, and I know Fiona and John attended that meeting as well. So she was saying that there are reserves if we need to utilize those as we're moving forward. So we don't want funding to hold us back from going into any phasing. Our biggest expense would be staffing. If we need to add any staff members to make sure that we can keep those numbers down and we can adhere to that 4 to 6 feet where feasible distancing within the classroom.
Great. No, that's great to hear that because I know the state came in much lower than I think you had submitted. So it's good.
That's why Ed said,
Yeah.
we hope we get this.
Yeah, right. So it's good to hear that the city, is helping or could
Yeah,
help.
they're supporting us in this endeavor.
That's great.
Gary.
So just a follow-up to that. So if things went well, and we went back to full-time learning in October, we would still have to go back to the Board of Finance for an extra million something, or we, I'm not saying that.
I have no idea at this point.
But it won't be
When we
nothing.
have created the schedules, we have tried to create them so that we can move seamlessly from each phase. And so with that, we've tried to have built-in measures, and with everybody understanding that we would have to pull from our interventionists to have them start to cover, classes, because the other piece is, as we move from phase to phase, remember, everybody else in the state is doing this too.
Right.
So although we have subs lined up, building subs, and we're trying to do as much as we can to finish up even fulfilling all our needs based on what our staffing needs and accommodation needs were. And so then the other staffing that we needed just for the school year to even start, even in hybrid, We haven't even finished that piece.
So,
And so we
what
would
I'm
have
saying
the
is-
changes, so we have no way of knowing
No, well,
Garrett,
all
how
right,
much.
but what I'm saying is if things work out, money's not gonna hold us back. from
Right,
going
and
on.
that,
to
absolutely,
reiterate
that's,
that.
and the mayor had said that
Correct.
at the Board of Finance meeting, and we are saying the same thing. That is not going to be our consideration. We want to make sure that we are getting back to normal as much or as soon as we possibly can, and we welcome our students back, but we also want it to be safe, and we want it to be, we have to adhere to the guidelines. We're not even in phase 3 in Connecticut yet. So we have to keep that in perspective as well. You know, that's why we have to do even our opening in these different rooms and groups. So,
Okay, any other questions? Go ahead, Nikki.
Just, I remember my Chromebook question. Can I ask it?
Go ahead.
So Allie talked about, I think she got us all very excited about some of the functionality that she was saying could be put on the Chromebook. So because we're going to have Chromebooks for every student, are we allowing students to use their own personal Chromebooks, or I guess requiring them to use the school provided?
so this is what we're saying. We're having parents sign off on the permission slip, if you will, the digital agreement. And basically what we're saying is the district is issuing your child a device, a laptop, and they're signing off on that. Should they say that they do not want to use a district issued device and that student is bringing that item, we are not responsible for any items that are broken, lost, damaged, in any way, shape, or form. And we will put that legalese in that agreement. So, you know, we really want everyone to use the same device, or our IT people are going to go crazy. Right, Ally? Am I speaking out of turn?
Yeah, so from a student learning experience, our devices are going to provide a better experience because we'll be able to, you know, look into troubleshooting and assist with that. Whereas the configuration of a, you know, brought from home kind of machine is not something that we would be able to properly troubleshoot. So there, you know, may be issues with that down the road.
Ally, is there also a security thing when they have our devices, right? We can have greater maybe supervisory ability?
We do. However, if somebody signs into a Chromebook that they own with a Torrington student account, the same rules do apply.
Okay.
So you
Oh,
can
that's
control
good to
that.
know.
Yes.
That's the rules. Or whatever.
The rules are the rules under our.
With a-
accounts. Yeah.
That's new.
That's great. Wow. Thank you.
We have a lot
Ally.
new that Ally's here. That's a very good thing.
And just if the delay in Chromebooks happens even longer, would that hold up the start of school, or is there really no supplies that, you know, due to the delays would stop us from starting on the 8th?
We will start no matter what. We will keep moving forward. Everything's gonna work out. We're gonna get it. You know, I'm happy that we're starting September 8th for all of the reasons. And I ordered beautiful weather, no 90-degree days. We're good. So between the two, it's gonna be gorgeous.
Laura's gotta come through first, though.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
She's mighty powerful.
Tomorrow.
Not surprising, not surprising.
I just
And
got
there
that.
you sit with your sunshiny dress on, you know?
Took a while.
Too funny.
I would imagine too, just with everyone having the same Chromebook would make it easier for
Yes.
teachers as well to
Right,
lead the
right.
instruction. of-
And less frustrating for the student.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, they're all on the same page.
Yes,
I
literally.
know districts like New Britain are not allowing students to bring their own devices. They're requiring, now that they have laptop or have devices for everyone, I don't think they're allowing students to bring their own for those exact reasons.
Yeah, but a lot of other districts don't allow outside devices.
Okay, any other questions on monthly financials? Fall sports update.
I think they're coming.
Yep.
This way, this way. Sorry.
You don't know.
You want me to go ahead and start this whole? Yes, they, okay. So what happened in July is we started fall sports conditioning. Actually, the sports that we started the conditioning with were the boys basketball, boys and girls soccer, and football. So we did the conditioning. I have to say, I'm just so proud of our coaches because they followed all the mandates. They were really great. They did the cohorts in groups of 10. They alternated the sports so that they weren't overlapping. Our students and our families were great. They followed all the protocols. Within the packet, there is, I think at the very end, just like an athletic monitoring form. And it just goes down a number of different things in terms of fever, chills, cough, nasal congestion, runny nose, sore throat, shortness of breath, difficulty breathing, going all the way down to new loss of smell or taste, and then temperature if higher than 100.3. So students were and coaches were filling that out each and every day. So it really, really helped. They were very much on board and we were moving right along. And then the CIAC and the DPH had their differing points of view. And when that happened, because COVID is a health issue, we have been asked by the governor and commissioner to listen to the Department of Public Health. And to help guide our decisions moving forward. So basically, the State Department of Public Health said that the CIAC said that districts could not do conditioning or practicing from August 17th to the 21st. That was not a district decision. That was not a board decision. That was a decision made by the State Department of Public Health. So they said no. And they said not until we could reach an agreement or if we could figure out what we're doing. And at that time, you saw in the press, which several parents pointed out, that they were really concerned about sports such as football, obviously because of the closeness and the proximity and all those things without having a mask on, being in a huddle and yelling and screaming. Volleyball because it's an indoor sport, and also the yelling of the plays and the closeness of the proximity of the students. So at that point, the State Department of Public Health and the CIAC were trying to work things out. Now, at the end of the week on August 21st, CIAC said, okay, schools could go back to doing their practices, August 24th to 28th. However, they also said that they were going to continue to have discussions with the Department of Public Health. So it left school districts in a very difficult situation because we are also supposed to be following not only CIAC, but the State Department of Public Health. So for this week, I told our coaches, we are not doing practicing or conditioning because I was hoping, and you'll see even in my letter that you'll be receiving at home, parents, that between August 24th and August 28th, that the CIAC and the Department of Public Health would be delivering the same message about whatever sports, whether that's football or that's volleyball or that's soccer or what have you. And I know that they've been working very hard on this, so I'm hoping that they can come to a resolution, but I know that it's also getting late and students, as you heard this evening, are getting anxious and they don't want to see their seasons fall by the wayside either. So at this point, I'm opening it up to the floor. This is the packet that we received from CIAC. That was basically before the State Department of Public Health said, shut it down, you're not doing practices during the week of the 17th to the 21st.
Let me ask you this, Sue. So it looks like none of the official games are scheduled to start till September 24th.
Yep, correct.
Scrimmages would start on the September 17th, which is 8 days after school starts or 15 days for real games to start.
Right.
So if we allowed practicing now for all sports, because I'm really not in support of picking between sports, but if we allowed practicing for all sports, they wouldn't be in contact with other schools until September 17th or 24th.
That is correct.
They would only be in contact with their own cohort of our high school or middle school teams.
Correct.
So would it be possible for us to let them practice in condition while we await the DPH and CIAC because they're not going to be going to other schools until a
Yes.
much later date?
Yeah.
But at least then they would be ready.
Sure.
I mean, I don't know what other people think, but Ellen.
So right now, they're practicing within their little cohorts of 15.
They've stopped because what
Well, no,
really
not
were
this week,
hoping-
previous
yes,
to this
Yeah.
week.
correct. Prior to this,
Prior to this, they
the
were doing
17th.
their
Yep.
cohorts of 15.
Since July.
Practicing.
Yep.
Whatever, okay. So by what Fiona said, if you wanted them to just full practice would mean the whole team would be practicing together?
Well, you'd have to look. So in this
You'd-
document,
yes,
it outlines the date.
Yeah.
Right, on the September 11th.
Yeah.
First practice date of full teams
Mhm.
and full contact.
Mhm.
From the chart,
Yeah.
that's September 11th.
Yeah, and it actually has the sports listed specifically on the next pages.
Yeah, each sport. is
Each
different.
sport has its own blurb and timeline.
So the full is September 11th. Some is full practice is
Right.
September
But
11th.
it
Okay, so
actually-
yeah, I know.
Actually describes it in there.
Right, but it goes from just the 15 to
Right.
full.
Correct.
Correct.
That's a long time. It's a couple weeks, right?
It does give us some time.
Right.
Yeah.
So even if these two aren't in agreement,
Some decision
Like I
should be
said,
made,
a decision should be made by the 11th
hopefully by this week.
or
Right,
previous
that
to the
we are
11th.
hoping
Right,
by this week.
right.
Mhm.
I'm just reading an article, today's article about it, actually, right now. And they said a decision could be made today. Nothing yet.
I think the other part is parents have the option to keep their kids out, just
Yeah.
like school, with no punishment or
Right.
impact on their future team. Gary,
I mean, I think we should go along with CIAC in the end, but in the meantime, as a compromise, I like your idea, but I think people should understand that for most athletes, well, first of all, our children are gonna be home sitting around in their houses 3 days a week at a minimum. I cannot expect children and young adults to be stuck. If we don't have sports for these kids, it'd be no different than theater or band or whatever. They're going to spend 24 hours a day in their homes. If they're not in their homes, they're going to be out with other people. I would prefer for their mental health, well-being, and safety that they be at least with those people that they've been practicing with for the last 2 months, 3 months, or however long it may be, versus being at Brody Park or at the YMCA or anywhere else where they will be with 30 or 40 kids at a time.
Or
Not-
home doing nothing.
Or even worse, home doing nothing. I mean, just being at the gym and seeing people come into the gym that at every age that have missed for 3 months. I mean, the difference in the appearance is amazing at what happens to people that stop their routine. you know, just for 2 or 3 months. And for the children that have been out since March already, as we all know, you know, suicide thoughts among children, according to the CDC, it was 25% of all kids under the age of 22, or beyond the other health issues. Again, if we want to start there, I'm okay with that. But in the end, I still think we need to get them back. And if the CIAC doesn't agree with the DPH, then obviously we'll have to vote on it. But
We'll have to wait.
I mean, these kids need to, they're going to be out there. The volleyball players, if they don't play with the high school, I would suspect many of them are going to join AAU teams. That's what we call them in the past. They're going to, you know, they're going to play somewhere. And rather than play with their teammates, than playing with people from Avon or Simsbury or down on the shore, you know, where they could probably spread it or get it a lot easier. So anyway.
Armin,
Yeah, and it is my understanding that the CIAC was consulting their medical people. And I think that's why they didn't talk to the DPH, but they were consulting medical people in the process because they have their own medical staff that they work with. So there, you know, so there were medical people involved in these decisions. It's my understanding that's how they came up with the plan.
John,
We heard a large number of intelligent and surprisingly concise letters this time, just expressing, first of all, this is important to us. Many of them said we understand the health concerns. And thirdly, many of them were, please let us play. We're respectful in the tone of the letter. Somebody did a good job of teaching these kids how to write a concise letter. I appreciate that. It made its point with me. And I would say, yeah, if we can get them out there, we're not committing no games until we keep
while
anyway. So why not let them practice? My opinion.
so the only other thing, because I never had an opportunity, we were both busy today, but so the only other thing I would like the board to consider is, so moving forward the next couple of weeks, you know, none of us are really exactly positive, you know, it's all going to be a work in progress, right? I would like us to allow practicing to start, but have the administration of the buildings and central office monitor this and have the authority if there's any issues.
Shut it
Just shut it down if there's problems and notify the board without the board having to call a special meeting. And I also think it's important that parents, athletes, everyone understand this is no guarantee of anything through the decision we're making right now that could change based on many factors. So it's an opportunity to try to get something in when we can, with the understanding that this may get shut down in the future. And just giving, I want to avoid if there's issues that we would have to call special meetings before we could cease. I think that's an administrative decision, just like it would be any other year. And then the board would be notified of if there was a problem. Because they're going to be the ones working closely with Torrington Area Health, all of these things to set protocols. And understanding that players, if they're not going to follow the protocols that the coaches and the CIAC guidelines, then they're not going to be able to play.
That's a good.
John.
And your point about letting administration make that decision without involving us is all the more pertinent because of the dithering that's going on at CIAC.
Yeah. It's timely.
Yeah, we have to have a timely response. So we definitely appreciate that. We hope for a season, certainly. We have amazing student athletes. And I do have to commend, as I said, our athletes and our coaches because they have followed all of those guidelines all summer long and done a great job. I was very, very proud of all of them. So I have no problem moving forward with what the board has said. I know we're not to a voting time.
Yeah, so the other, I guess, questions that I'd be just wondering is, so I think in the summer conditioning, the kids were filling out a form every day. like temperature checks.
That's this,
That's
yeah,
the
the
form at
last
the end,
one.
Yeah.
at the end of
Yep.
that, right?
So does it seem pertinent to continue those practices, or do you guys want to work that stuff out?
I think I'd
and then
like to
get
work
back
that
to
out with
us?
the
Okay.
coaches, and then I'll just update the board if you don't mind, because I want to see how it worked. How effective it
Was the
was.
CIAC mandating this over the summer?
They don't mandate that. They
But-
did over the summer, yes.
Okay, so now do you know if they're mandating it still or? it's an
We're
unknown?
gonna,
Okay,
I think we
I'm just
have a
curious whether,
choice
yeah,
at this point, because I think that what we found, we were starting out very, very strict and making sure that we had all that information. They may, as they're working with the DPH, get to a point where that's kind of like the compromise or something. I'm not sure where they're at with that, but I will check with,
Okay. Yeah.
the CIAC, with Glenn, who's been really wonderful, and Matt Conway, who has also been our rep, talking with the CIAC.
I think just the other thing too, just as we're notifying parents, is that parents would need to be responsible for transporting their kids on the hybrid days that they're not in school to practices. That we wouldn't be supplying buses
Right.
on those off days
We don't have.
or
enough buses,
Wednesdays.
probably.
No.
Right.
We would
I
have
mean, I think the
nothing
teams
available.
usually work it out anyways, but just to be clear that even though if they're not in school, to stay after to attend practices, we will not be able to provide transportation to
And we
get
can
kids to
send that out to
practice.
parents, yep. It's a good compromise.
Any other questions? And again, the most important takeaway is this is ever changing. This is not a guarantee of anything, even from a week from now. This is the plan as of today, and it will closely be monitored because our primary focus has to be educating kids. So there's a lot of factors that will be viewed in looking at this going forward. Any other questions on sports? School calendar 2020-21.
Oh, that one worked. There you go, hot off the presses. So calendar is back again. It may be on every agenda this year.
Every month.
Yeah, really. As we are starting to look at, we talked about those Wednesday days and trying to have them get back to normal. And as you saw when Sue presented her information in those samples, basically on those Wednesdays in the hybrid, we are doing almost exactly an early dismissal schedule, which is the morning instruction, targeted instruction in the middle school and high school. They're running through a truncated or shortened period, but getting through all of the periods in a day. And then they're doing their professional development, their collaboration on site in the afternoons. So what we are proposing is that we continue that practice at least until January, because even if we go back to in-person, this is so different and so new, and we have no idea how we are going to be moving in and out of these various stages. And if we have that early release day, which is built into the calendar, and I would really propose it for the rest of the year, but I didn't even want to go that far because we don't know, but at least up until January, up until the semester, because I truly think that we're going to need that time for even just communication. Okay, next week we're going on, or the next day we're going on, whatever the change is. We just have to be prepared, and it really gives us that opportunity to plan and to shift and to respond. Because if we have one school that's shut down, or one cohort, one group, one grade level, one something, we have to be able to have time to plan with these groups of folks so that we can adjust. And we don't know what that's going to be like.
I mean, Personally, I think it's a great idea. We have 3 different groups of kids now. We have the totally distance
Mhm.
learned, the half distance learned, the hybrid, the full in person. I think it's gonna be pretty complicated for quite some time for all of our staff to.
Yeah, it really is, but it's really complicated for me. Just, you know,
Yeah.
yeah. there's a
And
lot.
100 years ago when I was in school, Wednesdays was always a half day.
Oh.
And it was like humanities, so could be PD for teachers.
Sure.
It could be clubs and such for kids. And it was Wednesdays, it was like noon.
It was a little bit, but maybe, I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, but it was a half day. Wednesdays was always a half day, so.
Right. And, we still would be able to get our instructional minutes in because the students are still responsible for
right,
their
yeah.
instruction in the afternoon. They're doing their independent work. They're still submitting. They still have their assignments. They're doing their rework, resubmit. So.
And I think on Wednesdays was a lot of the PPTs also. They could
Yes.
schedule because it was a constant. It was always
Yeah,
Wednesdays
it
for the
was
high school.
reliable.
And the elementary school is not so much, it was only the high school, but you could, at least you knew then, you could do those then.
Yeah, there's some districts that have done this for a long, long time, but now especially with everything that we're dealing with and having to learn and to
Mhm.
adjust to and adapt to, it would be really helpful.
Yeah.
So not promoting any business, but Ed Advance's flyer does say that they have aftercare for half days or after
nice.
school or before school, just, for people that may be looking for that kind of option. I'm sure there's other places that do as well, but they specifically had a rate for after-school care and half days, so.
Nice.
Yeah. So that does offer supports as well for our daycare.
Any questions on the calendar?
Nope.
Ed, do you have any questions on the calendar?
No, I'm all set. Thank you.
Okay. All right, grade 7 through 12 building project forum.
And talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Take a
Okay,
breath.
so I'm gonna kind of combine the marketing committee update with this grade 7 through 12 building project forum because they have evolved into the same, morphed into the same kind of group. So after further analysis and discussions with someone from the state and the attorney, it was determined that you can't actually have a marketing committee for a building project, that you can't promote the project, which seems odd. However, we can't. So what has to happen is all of that work has to be done through a PAC. So in the last week, there's been members of the community that have stepped forward, created the pact, completed the paperwork, received approval, got an employer identification number, and now have a bank account. So they're officially full up and ready to go. So originally, we were anticipating that the Board of Ed administration and the architects would be conducting these public forums to provide information to the public. However, the administration is not actually legally allowed to participate in any of these public forums. So the Board of Education will be running the first public forum. The architects will be available for questions. The board cannot promote this project during this forum. All we can do is provide information on the project, non-biased information, and answer questions that the public may have. So it would be just the facts. We really would like to have the first forum on September 1st. And part of the reason why that date has become more important is absentee ballots are going to be available on September 1st and can be dropped at any time after that date. So if we can try to make the public forum work for September 1st, I think it's important that people have the factual information on the project. And then after the first public forum, the PACT will have to take over any additional forums that happen after that date. So we are going to have one more marketing committee meeting just to talk to the marketing committee about this. The marketing committee could still stand, but there's really not a lot that the marketing committee can do, unfortunately. So we'll see what those members want to do. So more information will come on that because we're still kind of trying to work out the details because of the limits of numbers of people that we can actually have. You know, Ally's given some suggestions on, you know, having the board in one room with the architects and then maybe live streaming it to possible other locations. Having people, you know, email in questions in advance. Maybe we could have a Q&A where we could actually put the answers up. Possibly just do a presentation that night. So if anybody wants to, because we don't have a lot of time for this. So hopefully we'll be able to finalize some of the details, hopefully by tomorrow. There's been a lot going on. And then we'll try to get it publicized as many places as we possibly can. So I guess it would be important because the whole board would be the panel. So it's important that everybody, you know, bring themselves up to speed with all of the information that we have reviewed. So I had sent it in the emails to everybody, basically all of the presentations that we've received on the project. So hopefully we'll get more information tomorrow to everyone. But does anyone have any questions? Go
Do you
ahead.
anticipate that we'll have a PowerPoint or whatever else you want to call it? Are you going to be working with this, or is this simply going to be the board?
Ally can volunteer. So Ally can help us with the first one because it's a
That's what I
non-biased
mean
Board
for
of
the first one,
Education
right.
one. Yep.
So the public can dial in and suspect that you'll-
Right.
you'll
So we'll
narrate,
create a Zoom.
and we can answer any questions.
Right. So we are limited to 25 people, including the board members. But we're not limited on Zoom for people to Zoom into the meeting.
And the PAC can be there at that meeting?
They can be there, yep. They can't speak. It's the Board of Education's information forum.
Okay,
So the PAC
gotcha.
is not participating
Gotcha.
in the forum at all. It would only be the Board of Education members and the architects as a reference point for questions on the project that the Board of Ed, you know, maybe wouldn't know specifically about
The actual
the
technical
drawings,
questions.
the
Yeah.
technical questions.
Okay.
But it's clearly information only. John?
And once the PAC takes over, we can do as board members anything we want. It has nothing to do with whether or not we're on the board, how active we are on this.
Right,
PAC.
as a citizen of the town. So the board members are allowed to serve on the PAC as a citizen. You are not a board member when you are on the PAC. You are a citizen of Torrington. Staff members can serve on the PAC as well. Staff members cannot do any PAC business
Right.
on school hours, during school time, cannot use any school equipment, laptops, copiers, anything to do any PAC business. But in their evenings and on their non-working time, they can fully participate in the PAC if it's something that's important to them. Questions? Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Were we able to get addresses, or is the city still not able to give us all? Oh, you did, okay. So we can get a blast out there before the first?
We can just say when the meeting
Yeah.
is.
That's all we-
No,
That, in that flyer, that's all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I was just gonna say, and we've done a number of these, I'm sure everybody's done them in their work world. It seems to help it to get the questions beforehand, so that you have some sense of maybe what people are interested in. Obviously, there are certain facts, but then it gives a little bit of time to kind of, even if you get other questions, obviously coming in from the live feed that night, then you can kind of formulate some responses
Will
around
we
that.
send them, this won't be a mailer then, this will just be an email format? Or how will this first notification go out?
So we'll notify all the newspapers. WZBG
Yeah.
has agreed to, you
Okay.
know, get any information out. We'll basically issue a press release.
Okay.
We will get it put onto Torrington Public Schools Facebook page with the details and just get it out there as best we can. Armand?
Can we create an email for those specific questions, for the building questions? You know, Torrington email specifically for that, and put it on our press release, so the emails aren't all going to you or Sue or whoever. Go to this one and it'll be just for the high school project. Can we do that?
Sure.
Yeah.
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 And I think it's important for people to realize that the answers won't end if you don't get your question in by September 1st. What we really just want people to have is an overview of the project, to understand the project, have the ability to ask questions. So a lot of the questions may come after the forum, which is completely fine
Yeah.
as well.
Right. So that's why if you have a designated email.
Yep.
And keep that for specific, then I think that would be easier for us and for the public.
Right. Great idea.
You know, and I mean, we already have the Facebook page, but you know, the specific email.
We did set up an email, Armand.
For the project?
Not for a project.
Not for the project, but when we set up the ad hoc committee initially.
Yep.
We had an email. I don't know if that
But
was.
Well,
this-
whatever.
Right, this has to be specific just to the questions, like you're saying,
Yeah.
because we have to be careful that we don't
Mhm.
spill over into pack world.
Right.
Yeah.
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 There will be a building committee website,
Okay.
which we only can put on information that the architect has given, public information,
Right.
you know, the project, pictures, costs, and so forth.
Right. So you know, that'll be helpful too. At least all the information will be at one spot
Yeah.
for the most part.
Ellie, go ahead.
If you want another public space in town that holds another 25 people, we can extend the meeting to that. That could be an option as well. So that people even within that room can also live participate.
I don't think there's any public space open. You
I
would know
don't
better,
think there's
Fiona.
anything open except
Yeah,
the
'cause-
library, but I still think they're not even allowing groups of people in there. It's a tough time.
Yeah. So that's the thing.
So the Board of Ed would run a meeting for information only.
Mhm.
With the architect to answer questions.
And the board would answer
Yeah.
questions,
Okay,
factual questions.
Yeah.
right. And then after that, there's no more board meeting on this. The PAC would take over?
I mean, the board can still meet about, it, but the board can't ever, as an entity, market,
Mhm.
No,
talk
no, I'm not saying
positively
market.
about the
Could there be
project.
another meeting of the board to receive questions that can answer factual questions?
There could be, yeah.
Okay,
So you're talking about those questions that might come up later.
Right,
right, yeah.
right. I mean,
Is
and
that what you're
also we can
referencing?
answer some of
Yeah.
them through email and post them because they would just be factual.
Yeah.
That
Right.
maybe more than one person has that same question.
Yeah,
Because there already is a question and answer page that's been started already.
yeah.
So you could kind of keep adding to that and keep it just for information, not,
Mhm.
No, right, right.
you know, it's been obviously a very large learning curve
Yeah.
for those of us that have never done this type of project
Right.
before. We're
It's-
Right.
doing the best we can, but
Yeah, it's very complicated.
it's complicated.
Mhm.
So, but all we can hope for is that people will
Mhm.
get the information to make an educated decision, is
Right.
really
Right,
the
and
goal
that's-
of the board.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
Just further to Ally's question and comment earlier, were you thinking like having like satellite locations?
Yeah,
So-
that's what she's thinking.
So if the meeting was, if you folks were at the high school or wherever holding you know, the original, and then could we set up satellites at some of the other schools to?
We could for this meeting,
Mhm. For only this one.
for
right?
only
Right.
this one.
But you
right.
can't for the other ones.
Yeah.
Correct. For anything related to the PAC, you cannot.
Right.
They have to do it at separate, different locations, not any of our schools, not at Midgeon.
Yeah.
But for this one, we could open Vogel Wetmore, for example, in the cafeteria and open it to 25 people. And then
Right,
maybe
yeah, just
another-
have to be super careful because we're also trying to make sure that we don't
Right.
Yeah.
open up our
sanitize
schools too.
right,
Right.
and it will be-
Because then we have to
because the kids are
disinfect
coming
and-
in.
Right, I was
next-
just
the
thinking if it
following
was
week.
September, right.
Yeah, so we have, right, September 1st gives us that leeway.
One little thing about space too is that, like, and this is a general rule with, like, you know, government operated facilities, is that anything that would be available to any group in the public can be made available to any political entity. And so something like, you know, if a group is able to, say, use a field or something, that, you know, notify the board, maybe pay a nominal fee, whatever it is, anything like that, that is still open to political entities. And so anywhere where you can do community meetings, then a political action committee would still fall under that type of community organization under the law. So as long as they're not receiving any kind of special privilege, any political entity should still be able to access any community space as long as they go through the proper channels.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Oh, go ahead, Nikki, I'm sorry.
I don't know if this is for the marketing or for the PAC. Mario has been doing a great job addressing social media, and there was a lot of questions about touring the high school, which obviously that's, you know, a challenge now with everything that's been going on. Would it be the marketing team that would put together a video?
We
So the
are,
building committee-
building committee
Yeah.
is doing that
Yeah.
on one day next week. I won't tell you the date.
Yeah.
Jennifer from Castle Bullis and Allison will be going through this high school because we have already pictures of what it looks like. She's going to do a video of that, so we can have it. That's a video because it's telling what we have there. It's not showing. It's not saying good or bad. It's showing you what it is. So, and we'll be showing that hopefully next Thursday at the building committee. It's
Mhm.
done. Yeah. And then we can put it on the website or something. Right.
Great, thanks.
Okay, any other questions? Nope. Okay, budget committee. You've heard enough.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Really, you know, COVID expenses is the big one right now.
Yeah.
So next month we'll have more, right, Ed?
Yep.
All right, school improvement.
School Improvement Committee met earlier this month. We had a meeting that discussed changes in the middle school, supported by a video that the superintendent, assistant superintendent, and other people from the middle school made, and explaining the new schedule and considerations of what will be available to students. And we also discussed the school mascot and recommend to the board the dropping of the red from Raiders, and just to be called the Raiders. Interestingly, there's a sports banner in the superintendent's office and on the bulletin board that says Raiders, and it is red, which used to be the school color before it
Changed to
morphed into
maroon.
maroon or burgundy or whatever we would call the color that it currently is. So the red may or may not have anything to do with the color. So anyway, we are Raiders, and unless, I suppose it's not on the agenda, but I suppose just making this report and not having to, we had a chance to discuss it or whatever, but we have discussed it. Everybody was there at the school improvement,
Right,
I think.
right. So we could amend the agenda to make an
It's
action.
not too late to do that.
Not too late to do
I'm going
that.
to ask to.
Because it's not a
Jen
special
to-
meeting, so.
To amend the agenda to include as an action item, board recognition of dropping the word red from Red Raiders insofar as it ever was official, and that henceforth the school teams will be called Raiders. Second to that.
The end of your update?
Is that-
So you're going to make
So
the
someone else
motion
Just
to
did.
amend
I
the
hope
agenda?
I don't have to repeat
No,
it.
no, but you're you're gonna make the motion
Yeah,
to,
to approve, to amend the agenda to make
so,
it an
Add the
action
action
item,
item.
board recognition.
so we'll make that 7G.
So you need a second, right?
Yep.
A second?
Any discussion? All those in favor of amending the agenda?
Aye.
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 Nikki, are you in favor? Okay, unanimous. Marketing committee, we just discussed,
Mhm.
so we'll move on to building committee.
Right, we met on August 20th at Torrington School. We went over with the architect, the educational specs, 7 to 12, the educational specs for the central office. We reviewed the floor plans of the high school and middle school. We went over the state standards that require us to build a building with 1571 students and how much that floor space will take. And we also went over the enrollment projections. We also gave copies, and this will be on the website of what the school will look like. And that's mostly it. The next meeting, again, is going to be at the high school at Thursday at 5:30. After we have the walkthrough before that, which is on Tuesday, we'll have the video hopefully, and Jennifer from Casabos will walk through the building to show us the things that are of need for maintenance.
So the next meeting is not tomorrow, Thursday,
No,
next
next
week,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thursday.
Next week,
September 3rd.
September
Okay.
3rd.
I think I want to add, I think we've gotten a lot of great members of the community on the building committee, and they're
Mhm.
providing a lot of valuable input
Mhm.
Yeah, very good.
from, you know, just sitting in on the meetings. They've brought up a lot of really great points, and
Mhm.
I think they've been really good addition to the project. So thank all of them for volunteering their
Yeah,
time.
yeah, it's really a great committee.
It's a great committee. We're
Mhm.
Just so
lucky.
you know, Mario and I were interviewed by Litchfield County Sports,
Mhm.
and it's on their Facebook.
Oh, good.
Right.
I saw.
So, we got, I think,
A million likes?
Yeah.
almost, a couple of jobs too, you know.
I'm trending now on.
They're
Facebook.
being recruited.
Recruited
World
for a
star.
couple movies.
World star, oh God.
The movie's gonna be,
Yeah, that toilet
Not
video.
twice.
the title of the movie is The Matzo Ball and the Meatball.
Yeah. Okay. Monthly financials. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the monthly financials.
So
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Like to entertain a motion to approve fall sports, starting up with practices, tryouts, based on the current CIAC guidelines, with the understanding that this could change and that this is what is happening as of now. We will await further guidance, and the administration will monitor this going forward. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Again, who's
Unanimous?
second?
John.
John, thank you.
John second. Gary.
I'm still trying to write the motion.
Before we go to school calendar, so Jess, the only change on the school calendar is a half day every Wednesday through January. So students would leave.
I
half
was
day.
able to listen to most of it.
Oh,
So
okay, perfect.
I'm 80% up to speed.
Okay. So I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the school calendar as proposed.
Mhm. So moved. So.
So moved
Second.
Armin, second Gary.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Entertain a motion to approve the Board of Education special meeting minutes of July 22nd, 5 PM, July 22nd, 5:30, August 5th, and August 19th.
Second.
Any discussion on the minutes? All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Entertain a motion to receive the subcommittee minutes. Armand, second.
Second.
Gary, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We didn't receive the consent agenda, and I apologize because I didn't notice that we didn't receive it until
Yep.
today.
That's here. Yeah, just sorry, too many things going
Yep.
on. And that wasn't Kim, that was just
Yeah.
me and Lisa, sorry.
So I'm just gonna give everybody a minute to look at it before we take action on
Yeah,
it.
we have plenty more, yeah,
couple there,
we have
actually.
a ton more.
Oh, thank you. You guys need them? Something about.
How are we doing for hiring? This is a question as we run through.
We still have one or two openings at the high school. I think as of today, just one at the middle school. Elementary, we're fine. And we just got two openings at the, what's that?
Special ed.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. Sorry,
Yep.
Kim, facing the
No, it's
other.
okay.
Yeah, so.
I'm still here.
I forgot, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I was testing my memory.
That's good.
Thank you. Yeah, Kim's been trying to stay on top of all this. It's been really, really crazy, making sure that she's addressing all of people's needs, accommodations, new teacher training. It's been a crazy, crazy year for HR. So many thanks to Kim and Lisa. Thank you, Kim.
Thank you, Lisa.
Okay, does anyone need more time with the consent agenda?
Can she pull it up? I haven't seen it. Probably Ed either. Oh, here it's coming.
Thank you, Ellie.
Oh,
Does he want to?
he's on the phone, so there's not,
Yeah.
he's not on any internet, he's on the phone. Ed, actually, Ed, I'm gonna send it to you by a picture.
Okay. I don't expect to have any issues.
Just in case.
Never know.
Breaking news from the CIAC.
Oh,
I told you, they said they might come up with the
Really?
answer tonight. That
They
was-
said that Monday too.
It just came across my phone, but it
Yeah.
doesn't look all that breaking.
They still don't know.
Football
Right,
season-
exactly.
football
They're
season
still
to
arguing.
start October 1st.
We heard that a while ago.
We already knew. Yesterday's news.
Yeah.
What did you say, Susan?
Football to be played this fall season will start October 1. CIAC to make an announcement tomorrow.
That's old news.
Yeah, really.
Well, especially current, I guess.
So it just bumped for the first contest date that's in here.
Yeah. Okay. Entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So, second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Abstain? Yep. Yep, okay. Entertain a motion to formally remove red from the red Raider, which would now make us just the Raiders. Sorry.
So moved.
I'm gonna second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Items for upcoming agenda, monthly financials, school reopening,
COVID expenses,
COVID.
Yep.
Building committee.
Building,
building committee,
that's enough.
yeah.
Okay, future meetings, will
If we're
be-
still
Are
dealing
we-
with necessary things,
Yeah.
I don't know how we need to have the school improvement committee.
Or policy,
Yeah.
unless there's something that we need.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think especially right before school. So maybe we can plan on starting to resume subcommittee meetings in October if
Okay.
we still need to, unless the state of emergency is removed, we still need to try to meet when there's actionable things.
Mhm.
But if we plan for trying to get on a schedule in October, and then we'll we'll reevaluate it with the committee heads of all of those.
So are we gonna keep
So we'll just,
budget for the 9th?
Yeah,
Because
budget
we
has
have
to
go
meet,
through
yeah.
At least monthly financials.
yeah, right. So
That's a
we'll keep
minimum
budget and the
budget
regular,
can stay.
and
on
that's
the
it.
9th. Okay.
And maybe even facilities and technology, because we will be dealing with facility issues or at least questions.
Right, and a lot
We'll
of the
wanna know
tech
about
piece,
that
yep.
at the very
Okay.
least.
And that's the day after school opens. Do you want, would you
Yeah.
guys
Okay, now
prefer
let's-
to move that to the following week?
Yeah,
To
let's
move
do
it to the
that.
16th.
Yeah, that
16th.
probably would,
Yeah.
thank
And what are we doing any virtual open houses? I'm talking about meeting conflicts.
On the
Yes.
9th, on the 16th,
Yeah.
and on the 20th.
All right, so
Oh,
it
the
can't be the
16th.
16th. It can't be the 9th because there's,
It's every Wednesday in September.
so maybe we could move it. Not on a Thursday or something or anything. Maybe we could have the meeting on a Thursday instead.
Building committees and all
Oh, that's right. How
of
about
them are meeting
Tuesday?
on Thursdays.
How about it?
How is that
Tuesday.
gonna work anyway? Because that already would have conflicted with the meetings we had scheduled. Was there another thought in mind of how that was gonna be?
Well, the reason why we did the Wednesdays is because of the hybrid. And to keep with that. And usually it's not a meeting and a welcome back night. But I don't know is anybody impacted by the welcome back night on the 16th?
Which school?
It's the middle school.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm wondering.
So if it doesn't impact anyone, maybe we still can
Okay.
meet.
When would the budget committee meet?
The 16th, we're
Because I
saying.
may not be there.
Oh, okay.
My son's getting married,
Oh, congratulations.
Bring him along.
All right.
so. Well, he's in Atlanta. so
Oh,
I
okay.
may not be
No
there.
problem.
Quarantine.
Well, can we, how
Oh,
about,
geez.
when are you gonna be back?
Well,
14 days later.
Yeah.
Do
no,
you
I'll be
and,
back on Tuesday, 14th, I think. Yeah, because we're leaving on the 10th. The wedding's the 12th.
so do you and
Right,
Ed
so-
want to
Yeah,
coordinate
we'll
a date
coordinate it.
and then reach
So,
back out
right-
to us?
Right now, we don't have a date.
Okay.
And the full board meeting is on the 30th in September?
23rd.
Oh, it's the 23rd, okay.
Shakespeare's birthday.
Okay, so I apologize. I missed comments for the good of the order, so I'm going to go back to that. So I apologize for that. Start with Ed. Do you have any comments
set,
for the
thank
good of the order?
No, I'm all set. Thank you.
Okay, Nikki?
Yeah, I just wanted to, I agree with John. I think to see so many students write in was really impressive. And so thank you so much for being so involved and expressing your concerns. I do think the comments received tonight was very different than the way the teachers' concerns were received last night.
Gary?
Well, I mean this seriously. I really think the public needs to know how hard the administrators have worked, how hard you have worked, and how much time it's been that you've spent on putting together this plan. You know, a lot of people know that I didn't agree with it in the beginning, but I think you put together the best program you can do, given the push and pull from every side you've had, whether it be us, me, the unions, you know, the public, politics. You know, in the end, I think it's the best, given the circumstances we could possibly ask for. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, Eddie, Joe,
Now we're over here. Wait.
John. I saw your eyes.
If you called Ed first.
They're looking.
Ellen?
With John.
I agree that the amount of work is surmountable. I know I'm embroiled in it also. And it's unbelievable, and I give you a lot of credit, and always with the kids first. So, thank you.
That's a priority. Thank you. I'm very lucky I have an amazing team.
It's a good team.
Armand?
Yeah, no, thank you all for all the hard work and just good luck to everybody, all the staff on opening day, because we won't meet is the last time we're meeting before opening day,
Yeah,
right? Probably. So
probably not.
probably not. So good luck to everybody and have a great school year.
John.
Combination of what everyone has said, including Arlon's best wishes for the upcoming year.
Yeah.
Rip them apart.
Yes.
I just want to acknowledge that Robin Magistrali is retiring, which I just found out about 2 seconds ago. I think it's Cape Rup, and she's been at the high school for a long time and an asset for a long time. So just to thank her for her years of service.
Thank you. My only comment is that the comments received last night regarding from the teachers, I think it's misappropriated to say that the board did not receive those comments the same way they received the comments tonight. The big difference is sports was on the agenda tonight for an action item for the board, which was something that was in the board's purview. The Wednesdays, which was the issue, was not an agenda item for the board. So there was really no way for the board to react or take action. And I think it's important. All of the board members are very respectful of teachers. And I hope that the board continues to respect our teachers, our paras,
All the
and
staff.
all of the staff that's working, secretaries, custodians, everybody is working
Yeah.
enormously hard, everyone at central office. And the only way this board has been able to make progress, because I was on the board for a lot of years where we did not make progress. And the reason we have been able to make progress is we have so many great people working in the buildings, working at central office, and a board that is cohesively working to support people in the buildings and people at central office. So I hope that continues and that we do not end up divided, incisive, and creating more problems for ourselves. Thank you. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.